want to introduce our designers. First one is Beverly Butler. And Beverly, just tell us, we'll go through and then you can just tell us what you're going to do.
Well, I'm doing the pineapple turkey. And if you can believe this, I started doing this with a group of junior gardeners when my daughter was 13. She's married with 3 kids now. So it's very, very simple. Kids can do it, we can all do it. This is a simple sway with just some greens that you can cut in your yard or any place you can steal them. I'll show you how to wire those together. And this is just this bowl with cranberries and some floating candles.
Great. Leslie, what are you doing?
I'm doing 2 arrangements. I'm doing a Thanksgiving and then I'm doing another one for Christmas.
Terrific.
Mine's already done.
And I hope I win it. Won't that look nice on my daughter's Thanksgiving table? Okay. Rick, what are you doing?
I'm doing a silk arrangement, the cornucopia, which is mostly done. I'm doing live greens in a cemetery basket or a Christmas log basket. And then I'm doing a boxwood tree. I'll show you this. We'll do that from scratch. So.
Perfect. Gail, what are you doing?
Not much. What are you doing?
Just hang around eating apple cake.
I'm going to be doing a hot Thanksgiving arrangement that I can show you a couple of tidbits to convert it to Christmas. And then I have another little smaller one that's going to be the same thing, convert to from Thanksgiving to Christmas.
Super.
And then these were pre-made. These are just our little parsley trees from old house stores.
Perfect.
So I made those.
Perfect, perfect. Well, I'm excited. Anybody else ready?
It's a piece of felt, and actually I traced a few little heads here if anybody wants to take one. There's, a felt square. And then I take a coat hanger and put it up inside. Here. Can you hear them? I take a few little cotton pins just to kind of hold it straight. And these are some pipe cleaners that I just take. And now you can do it with the little feathers that you can buy at the store, or different kinds of pipe cleaners, anything like that. And just stick them all in like this. A few greens on the tray.
You're only on TV.
Oh, okay. A few little greens on the tray. And that's it.
Ah, cute. Very nice.
This is a swag, and I usually do one of these to put between my 2 garage doors because I put a wreath on the front door and I don't want to have a wreath in both places. And the thing you just need to remember when you're wiring it is to wire like underneath branches. Don't just grab the top and wire the whole thing so that if anything slipped it would catch. So you just, keep adding layers and wiring them. Then take another little bunch and wire them for the top. And I will just wire that on there.
And what kind of greens have you used?
I have used this, like a Christmas tree green, some boxwood, some holly, and what's this one? The Andromesia?
No, Andromeda.
Andromeda, yeah. I just cut it off my bushes in the front yard for a little bit of color. I used to have a lot of bushes before we redid all the landscaping, and now I've lost them.
How long will it stay fresh?
Usually mine stays till the end of January when I put it outside. And for now, you could even just spray it with some water to keep it going. So then this will just get wired under here. Yes, this is the little top knot. To kind of just finish it off.
And what kind of wire that you're using?
Just a spool of wire, the one you buy at the craft store. I couldn't find my wire cutters today. And then a bow. And usually, I like to use a pipe cleaner to tie a bow because you can tie it much tighter. And I usually just kind of try and get the little tails to go down there where they look nice. Gotta get this to go all the way around. Give that a cut. Well, you can kind of do something like that. And then these I usually sort of wait until the last minute so I can get them so that they show underneath the bow. I'll wire that on afterwards. And then this here is just a little bowl from A.C. Moore with a bag of cranberries. And some of the floating candles. Come on. Come on. I don't know if I got them wet bringing it here. I might have got that a little bit wet bringing it here. Oh. I don't know if I got those at Pier 1 or A.C. Moore. I had them in a drawer. And I hadn't used them yet, so I thought, well, let me throw this together. So that, that you can do in a few minutes. So that's good.
I'm making a centerpiece for Thanksgiving, and I got this cute little salad bowl in a yard sale, and I like it because it has little feet. And, oh, thank you. And I lined it with a black trash bag and oasis. I soaked the oasis, and then I'm going to put, this is a pumpkin spice candle in the middle. And what I've done was I've taken some of my greens and used the woody part of it, and I've put the woody part right next to the candle to support it, so it doesn't flop over if you move it. You can also use if you have these picks, you can also use the picks to hold the candle in. So what I've done was I've just filled everything in with the greens, and then I've got the roses, and I'm just putting the roses in around it and trying to make a circle, which is harder than you think when you have a piece of oasis that's not cut in a round way. But so you just sort of keep on turning.
Are the roses real or so?
Oh, they're real.
I don't really know.
Well, I've soaked them and given them a lot of food. Oh, thank you. Ah, that's what you need. Thanks, Rick. So I don't know, a week. Depends on how hot your house is, but this can easily go through to Christmas. I would say after the roses go, just put it outside and keep the greens moist, and it should certainly go to Christmas. So it's
Just periodically change the flowers.
yeah.
What'd you say? You just periodically change the flowers.
And then if your roses are sort of falling apart a little bit, you just pinch the leaves right here, and they'll just pop right off, nice and clean. And don't be afraid to clean them off. And then just to let you know, I'm sure everybody knows this, but when you're burning a thick candle like this, you should let it burn the first time for half an hour so the wax pools evenly and you don't get that hole. Sometimes if you don't let it burn long enough, you just get like this, the hole that goes down. And so this candle should burn for a long time. So my oasis obviously is not round, so I sort of have to feel to see how long the roses have to be. Some of them have to be short and some have to be long, so it depends. This is really nice to have this turntable.
I know you
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I had another container that I bought for tonight, but I liked it so much I kept it. Which is why my basement is full of stuff.
Can you mention my basement?
Oh, yes, I have. Yes. Okay, so now we've got a ring of roses. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put pine cones in that I've wired. And I've put them on these sticks. And then I put a little bit of tape around it, but you don't have to do that. And so you can, if you feel like your candle is a little bit loose, you can put these in as a support around them. But it's very easy. And then I'm going to add some rose hips. And we were just talking tonight about how you used to be able to go. I went to all my old haunts to find the rose hips, and everything is gone.
So where did you get those?
I'm not going to tell you.
Get that conversation.
Because I know what you'll do. But I used to go up by the Rentham State School, and there used to be tons. And I went up there today, and the birds have gotten them, have eaten them all. And then other places, they've built up, and so it's really discouraging.
These were wild roses?
Yeah. Then you have to, because they're full of like little tiny prickers, you have to come home and take all the little prickers off. So you just sort of keep building. So you could certainly, change the color of the roses, add some shiny balls, add a white candle or a red candle, and could easily transition into Christmas. So it's very easy. Just a matter of, I think the hardest part is finding the container.
No, how do you think is giving it up?
Well, clearly I didn't do that, but I really like this salad bowl, too. I had a hard time giving that up. So I'd say that's pretty simple. And then if you want to, you can just add a little bit of ribbon. And what I did was, when you put the ribbon on, you want to put it this way, so when you stick the wooden pick in, this will flip over, so you don't want to see your mechanics. So I just put that in there. And you always want to weave your ribbon and always cut the ends. Whoops, did it the wrong way. And there you are. So that's pretty easy. Thanks. Now, the next one, I'm going to show you how to do this the hard way. What I wanted to do was to do a ball. And what you should do is they have oasis that's in the shape of a ball. That would be the easy thing to do. And then what you do is you just take your carnations and you cut them just a little bit below the bud, but before the first knuckle, and then you just put it in, and it will be nice and even. But no, I thought it'd be clever and do it myself, and with a piece of oasis that I tried to carve, but it's not so easy. So, and then I started working on it, and I can't, it's hard for me to work on it so low. But anyway, I got the container at the Christmas tree shop, and it's actually a wine bottle holder. So I thought that was cute. Yes. Yep. And the carnations will last about 2 weeks. So it's a great flower.
Something that will often bring your container to the right height to work with is an upside-down wastebasket.
Yes, well, at home I'm fine, but I forgot they're going to be working on a low table. So let's give you an idea. So you just try to eyeball it as best you can. And then I have another one. And then I thought it'd be fun to group them on your table. So you could do something like this. Yeah. But definitely it's worth the investment to get the round ball.
Well, I cheated. I did mine at home and brought it in. I had all these wonderful flowers and silks and everything like that in my closet from other events that I participated in. Down at the Attleboro Arts Museum, I did huge centerpieces that were massive, tall, and that's for their opening for the show down there. And they didn't want the flowers, so I brought them all home. And I said, well, this is perfect. So I did my arrangement over, and this is just a little old wooden box thing. It has handles on it. And I didn't like the color of it, so I painted that with some orange and gold paint. And that made the base. But as you can see, there's all sorts of different pods. These are pods that I've collected all over the country. And I have wired them all in here. And there's these curly things that I picked up along the roadsides. I'm a real scavenger. And so a lot of these flowers were just massive, and it was a lot of fun. In the bottom, I have like 5 blocks of oasis, and then I stacked them up on top so that it gives you height in the center. So it's a nice fall arrangement, and we're going to auction it off, I guess, and you have your choice. And I also do these. Yes?
Do you use floral clay or something to keep the oasis in, or is it just pressure?
It's pressure. It's so tight in there that you can't move it. When I stacked them up, I wired it, the stacks, and so it's all kind of combined. There's wire around the oasis in there, and there's wire in the blocks I built up.
You use the dry?
Yeah, yeah, the Sahara.
Some people may not realize there are 2 kinds.
Yeah, there's 2 kinds. There's the wet, and then there's the Sahara, which is for the dry. And this is another venture of mine. I decorate these vases, and I sell them at the Five Crows up in Natick. So I brought a couple of them in just so you can have a chance in having one of my pieces.
And where do you sell them?
Five Crows in Natick. It's a great craft, lots of craft people, beautiful jewelry, beautiful paintings. It's just a great place.
It's in downtown.
It's in downtown
Natick.
Natick.
Near the Dolphin Restaurant.
Yeah, near the Dolphin Restaurant. Yeah. It's in an alleyway, but it's wonderful.
Shade, would you ever, what colors did you actually paint them in?
Paint what?
Paint like the sunflowers?
Oh, I didn't paint. I sprayed them. I used just like a gold spray and oversprayed them. The sunflowers were just all the orangey tones, and I oversprayed them so that there'd be a little gold in them. But they were all purchased. And these leaves were in a garland. Someone might put a garland, and I cut them all and wired them all. So there's a lot of work involved in doing it. The other one that I did was probably about this tall, and it had this base that was like a funnel, and it had legs on it. This was down at the museum in Attleboro that I did this, and it was just magnificent. I also did large back. They're out of like silk, and I had all these leaves sewed on individually, and it was a beautiful backdrop to the whole scene. So I've been busy. I've kind of gotten out of just arranging in flowers and all that because I've gone on to other things. So here it is.
I've done most of the work with this. It's a cornucopia, and Leslie had mentioned the key word in it, mechanics. This right here is using wiring. I've wired, and you can't even see the floral wire that I've used to hold the styrofoam, which is the basis where the flowers go into, okay? These, by the way, I got at AC Moore, which is pretty good, and they're on sale, so end of year. And the lotus pod and these little pumpkins, I got to Stop and Shop. They were getting rid of them. So I look around to find what bargains I can get and take advantage of it. So as I said, mechanics is very important. You want to hide any wiring that you have in here, or in this case, I'm using a floral stemmer, which I borrowed from our shop in Walpole. And this is a device, as you can tell, it's about 100 years old. And you simply just take the bunch of flowers you get, so you get a whole bunch like this. I think end of year, the 75% off, this whole thing was $2, and I had maybe 10 or 15 on here. So it's really worth the money. And I'm just going to cut this off. And this little device, if you can all see, it slides out, and I actually have some samples to show. It slides out this metal cylinder, and you just lay it down, and you press on it. And it's got like barbs on it. And this thing will never come off. It'll never will. It's fantastic. So it's the other method of doing it is to use a floral pick and then taping it. But that's subject to sliding out and everything, so I don't use those. If I can use these in the shop, I will. So I'm going to push this in here. And just to get the flow coming out of the cornucopia, I'll add a few more. And this holds a whole tray full of metal tubes.
So where do you find the metal bits?
Yeah, they actually, my boss Rita Bork was telling me that AC Moore and Michaels do carry these, a lot newer versions of them, and you can buy the metal pieces that go with these things at the stores. But this thing, I have a small piece you can pass around to kind of show you. You want to pass that one around? It's really on there. It's not going to come off. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to finish this off. The hardest thing sometimes is actually cutting them, because these are like wires. Yes, I actually cut that to fit in here. The preferred method would be to hot glue it. A cold glue doesn't really work well, but if you have a hot glue, pan glue they call it, it'll here and there, it won't come out at all. But since I don't have that, I used wire, floral wire, here and here in two spots, and it's tied off at the top, and that's not going to come off. I went up and through, yeah. This comes in sheets. You can buy it in big sheets, or you can buy it in the same block as wet oasis. You can buy dry oasis as well for dry arrangements. Just put a couple more pieces in it, and that should finish it off. I love colors. The wilder, the better. And I don't like to do traditional work. I like to do contemporary. So, And of course, this will last forever. There you go. What's that?
To dust them off?
Well, I would put this in a plastic bag if you were going to store it or something like that to keep the dust off it, yeah. And away from cats. My cats would love this, especially this part right here. It's like a cat toy to them.
Yeah, you could take a hairdryer and just blow all the dust off.
The second piece, it goes by cemetery logs, cemetery baskets and everything, but I don't like to pigeonhole a name to a product or something like this. I mean, it's nice. You get a nice piece of wood here and everything. I like winter greens in here. I have some boxwood. I have some balsam. I have some white pine. I actually have 2 sprigs of spearmint in here from my backyard. And I also have a couple of pieces of Vanderwolf pine that I have in my backyard. Let me just show you the difference between white pine. This is white pine, and this is the Vanderwolf pine. It has a blue, when you see the whole tree, there's a bluish tint to it. So I just like to mix in the greens.
How do you spell that?
Vanderwolf?
Is it V-A-N-D?
Vanderwolf, yeah. Actually, I got these from Briggs Nursery, okay? And they started off maybe 4.5, 5 feet high. Now they're up about 8, 10. They'll go about 20 feet. So I do like mixing in greens. Again, hiding the mechanics. There's wet oasis in here. And you can bring this in the house if you have a fireplace you don't use. You get the nice smell of the greens. You can bring it in, put it by your fireplace, or you can put it on your door outside as an entryway kind of item to kind of welcome people.
Rick, is there some kind of liner for the wet?
Well, what I did was I took a plastic bag, a Ziploc bag, and I opened up, because you're not going to find anything that's going to fit like that. I cut it to fit, and then I put my oasis in that. So the water won't, if you're going to have it inside, the water will not penetrate through that. Thank you, Tina. It won't penetrate through the wood. If you have it outside, it won't matter. But again, I like to mix in different things. And I don't really have any kind of pattern to this at all. And I'll finish this up later on. And what I'd like to do is, if I'm going to have it outside, I want to add a little color to it. I'll throw a little red carnations. Actually, carnations outside will last a long time. I would not use roses or anything like that for the outside, but red carnations, they hang in there. I've had them last several weeks.
Even with the frost?
Yeah, they will actually get really cold and freeze up, but they hang in there. They won't collapse. You put a rose out there and it'll just kill it. But I've had carnations out there, and I'm not doing anything to.
You're doing this automatically, but what design techniques are you using here as you're growing your flowers? Balance and things?
I'm not worrying about that. I'm not adhering to any rules in here. I like to go wild every now and then. I'm not following any set pattern or rules or techniques.
He's a guy. Just that it looks good.
If I was working in the Walpole shop, I would have to follow whatever technique the shop wanted for an arrangement. But I'm doing this for myself, and hopefully, if I do sell these, people get pleasure of seeing something totally different. When I went to school, you follow certain protocols and procedures as far as what needs to get done and how it gets done and whatnot. But again, I like to think outside that area most times. And then I'll throw a little a ribbon on it. Where'd I get the basket? I go to Jacobson and get my floral supplies at Jacobson right next to the flower exchange. So I can buy them wholesaler. Probably any floral shop. We're selling them in Walpole. I'm not sure about AC Moore. I haven't seen them there, or Michael's. But flower shops like garden centers, probably Briggs in Attleboro, they might have them. And I'm sure the flower shops will sell them to you. Retail, of course.
Where's the shop in Walpole that you keep referring
It's on 1A, next to the Dunkin' Donuts or across from the Bristol Square Cafe.
to? Oh, yeah.
It's a garden center as well, so in the summertime we have. So I work there part-time. So I even throw in. These are a little more delicate. This is a cushion mum, which I love. These are gorgeous. I love these. It has a little bit of green in them. It's a cushion mum. Cushion mum, yeah.
And those will do okay outside also?
I'm not quite sure about that. I haven't tried these outside, but I just want to add a little more color to it here. Again, something different. I haven't tried these outside. I have tried carnations, plain carnations outside, and they have lasted for up to a month. Well, last year we had a mild winter. So we have that. And the last thing I have is to show you how I do a boxwood tree. You need a good waterproof container, okay, to catch water. You need to take your foam and let it soak. Don't shoot yourself by just putting it in there for 10 minutes. You need to let it soak overnight so it fully absorbs all the water. If you don't, every time you put in a branch, it's going to hit a dry spot and you're just going to die. So you want it fully wet, and then I add a little bit. It's a bread knife at Target for like $7, but it's great for cutting oasis. I'm just going to add a little bit on the side here. And again, I'm going using tape. I want to make sure that's not going to move, so I'm going to. Right, so I'm going to lock this in, and then what I do, and we do this in the shop, is we staple it. Okay? That way this guy is not going to move at all on you. And I just cut off the extra pieces. And then what I'm going to quickly do is to kind of and then I just get boxwood. I buy it by the case from a company in Virginia, and this is really good stuff.
How expensive is that?
I'm sorry?
How expensive is that?
Wholesale, it's $45 a case. How big is the case? Yeah. I can get 10 trees out of it. So what you want to do when you're doing this, start off with, is you want to get the perspective. Here's where some of the mechanics come in. Is a height and balance between the height and the width. So getting a straight piece, I may take a piece like this. When using the boxwood, keep the leaves that are green facing upward, just like a tree does. The leaves go for the sun. Have them point upward. And I just use every part of it if I can. I strip off what I'm going to put in there. So I'm going to start to build. I'm not going to do this whole thing because it would take too long. So I'm going to work my way around and set my triangle right here. You see how it's going to shape out. And then you just start to fill it in. And again, because of the mechanics, you want to make sure you hide your tape now as you're going along. And because of the amount of product in here, you will do that automatically. I'll just do a few more pieces. But you get the idea right off the bat as far as how this works. Okay, so you see that. So you go along, and about 10 or 15 minutes later, not really, it takes me longer, but I have ladies in the shop who do this in 10 minutes. Can you believe it? You get this. Okay, and you can't see it, the mechanics of the bush are gone. So then it's totally up to you as far as what you want to do as far as decorating. You can do anything. And again, I love the cushion lungs. I'm going to push them in without going too far in. Just kind of feel whether it's going to hit some oasis. Whoops. I actually recommend, if I do sell these, that they put about a half a cup of water every couple of days on this, and they spritz it. Keep it away from heat, and this thing will last 2 months.
Oh, I've had mine last for March. In February.
Yeah, you have to keep it away from the heat. The boxwood will last. The mums won't last that long, but
But whatever else.
but you can change them out. I mean, and again, I'm not going to go too far here because we want you to spend some money tonight.
Rick, does that have a scent to it, the boxwood?
Some of it can be stinky. Okay. This really doesn't have. This doesn't really have a scent to it.
You have to be careful.
Oh, your boxwood doesn't stink?
It smells
Well, whatever they do in Virginia, they're doing it right. So I'm going to use some Hypericum, which is kind of cool.
Depends on the boxwood tree.
What's
There are
that?
certain boxwood trees that have a horrible smell to them.
Yes. So this adds some red berries to it, which are really cool. You can get this in red, green, and there's also almost a whitish one. We use them in the shop quite a bit for a lot of our decorations. And it's a natural color to it. And again, I won't finish the whole thing right here. Maybe I'll do it while Gail's talking. Well, no, I won't do that. That's not courteous. So you get the idea of what you're doing here, right?
Take your time, take your time.
And then I had some pine cones. Now, Leslie had to wire her pine cones. Again, if you can buy them, you can buy them already made up, which is really cool. So you just stick them in like that. And they're in deep enough because they'll go in there. So once you get the tree built, you can get the basics done. You need to put a red red star on it. So what I've done is I've done variations of these to show you what you can do with them. So, I mean, you can. The choices are endless as far as what you can get. And this one is using all carnations.
Reverse this. This is going to be the Christmas, and then I'm going to reverse it because it was easier. And then you just put, this is cranberries, you fill it with the water, you put little tiny, 2 little pieces. See, this is already in there. So that's wet. And then, so just a couple of pieces of pine, and you can actually put more cranberries in it. But then you put, I didn't have a floating candle, but I had this like half candle. And you put this in here like that. And then that's just your little you can put that by your sink, the back of the toilet, in the bathroom, anywhere. So that's, but now I'm going to reverse it and make it Thanksgiving, where I'm going to take this out and take this out. You could leave it in, but, and I found these awesome color, this is tulips, which is crazy at this time of year, but they were too tempting. So I'm just going to put those in with the cranberries. You do, because you'll change this because you're going to change it because of the tulips. But even when you just have the candle and the cranberries, you don't have to change it as often as you would a flower arrangement, but you do want to rinse them off, and you can. It's all different heights in these cylinder jars too, which is kind of fun. So, but I thought this color tulip with the cranberries looked kind of cool. So.
I always remember the trick that Charlotte Dion taught us about the top underneath the.
Oh, sticking the pin in it? But you know what? Sometimes, if I've done that because I used to work for her too, but I like sometimes when the tulips grow. I kind of like you never know what they're going to, you end up with a different arrangement. And they also move towards the light. If you have it towards the window, all of a sudden you see your tulips are going that way because they are going towards the light.
They go on growing, don't they?
Yeah.
That's why they drop over.
That's what she used to. If you don't want them to grow, you can stick a little tiny pinhead right below here, and then they won't grow. They'll stay the same. And if you want them to stay up straight, what do you put? Is it vodka? I didn't know whether it was vodka or Sprite.
Or else you have the vodka and then you don't notice.
You go like that. Oh, this is tight. Tulips will continue to grow, even though they've been cut, and then once they get in the water. That's why when they end up, they're not just flopping, they grew. Actually, this doesn't want to go in here. Might pour a little. No, you just stick it in and. All right, this one doesn't. This one has a problem. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here you had that. So that's from Christmas to Thanksgiving in reverse. And there's the candle, and here are the greens. So, a little vignette. So, okay. And then the next thing I have here is also when we used to do all the house tours, and we actually had somebody that. These are really kind of fun and easy. I put them together. But these are just the styrofoam cones that you get anywhere. And you just take some Elmer's glue, put it in a little dish, and what I found is if you had a splash of water, and then you take one of the disposable paint brushes, not the spongy kind, but the brushy ones, you get them at Ocean State Job Lot, and you just brush the whole cone with the glue. And while you're at Ocean State Job Lot, you buy all the parsley there, put it in an aluminum pan, the disposable pan, sprinkle this in here, and then brush all your glue on, and then start sprinkling. And I bought a little flat pan, so I just rolled the cones. And then I just kept patting it down, and rolling it. And so then it's a little parsley tree. And then you can leave these by themselves. They're very cute just by themselves. And then I went to the basement, and I went through all my stuff. And these are upholstery tacks that and this is some cording that I had. These are barbecue, kebab things. I had this tin, and I just made a little grouping here. But you don't necessarily have to, and this is some little wiry, beady stuff I had too.
And what's in the tin?
I put Sahara, the dry oasis is in here. And then I had to put the reindeer moss on top of it, the parsley, and you can put a bow. I didn't have any thinner ribbon tonight, so you can do whatever you want. You can put, as I said, you can just leave these by themselves and put them all over, get all different shapes and sizes. But it's just kind of fun. We used to do these for a lot of, as I said, and a lot of the house tours and stuff. We did these a lot. So, but anyway, I am going to do a big arrangement of all fall, and you actually could convert this if you added, at the end, you can add pine. So I'm going to start with leatherleaf. But I know it's going to, I do everything in a triangular. I'm a balanced person when I do stuff. So this is just going to be my base. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I put water in here, and this is right now there's 3 bags of cranberries in there. Because I was thinking about the cylinder, putting this cylinder inside, but then when you want to change the water in the flowers, I'm not sure how you manage all the cranberries on the outside. I was thinking that's just too much work. So, but I'm going to start with my side flowers. And these are just some, different, as I said, from Trader Joe's. And they do have some nice, and they had all different. Were you there yesterday for those? Those were nice. And I just do go around and around. Go out here.
I copied your idea of the candy corn around the pumpkin. I did it around
Oh, you did?
for a dinner party. All candy corns were gone.
Everyone just go.
You're eating my arrangement. That was so clever, Gail.
What you put in as an extender?
I have floral foods that I buy, or you can use the packets,
Yeah,
which are really, the packets themselves are really a mild bleach made for flowers. But there is a floral food that I buy in a liquid form by the gallon.
So I also have a Fresca, and I have a little tiny.
Yeah, it's sugar.
Sugar and sugar.
Yeah, I've heard that too, actually.
No, but the packets that you get, from the grocery store, just it really does prolong and helps. It actually keeps the water clean, is what it's doing. And then changing your water is really important. I change my water almost every day if you can, or every other day. It does, yeah. And remember to always take the leaves that will go below the water line and all the.
Recut the stems as you
Yeah.
can do it.
They really do. I'm going to hold it back on that one. You can do them daily, but you don't. You can do it every other day too. And these are spider mums. I love the color. This is very. I think these 3 colors can go for both holidays. So. And I don't know, but right after Thanksgiving, and you see everything that's yellow, and you just kind of want to hide it.
We call them Fuji's at work because people freak out when they hear spider mom. They really, they hear they freak out, so their real name is a Fuji mom.
Yeah, they're all like every other mum. They're nice and long. They last like the mums do. They're all in the mum family, so. And when there's a few little spotty things here and there, just wipe it so you don't put it in your water. Just don't have to start the bacteria right away. But yeah, it's just more base for them to get water. More area, All right. One more. these are. They're little button mums. That's what I bought. I have all those technical terms.
That's what we call them.
It's been a few years. And then these are the roses as we. Feel like we need like music or something. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah, what a Christmas music. Do you want to sing? You could sing.
Sure.
How about some Thanksgiving songs? Poor Thanksgiving, it gets lost in the.
Thanksgiving Day is coming. Mr. Turkey said, and very careful I must be or I will lose my head. The pumpkin met the turkey, I'm frightened me, oh my. They'll mix me up with sugar and spice and I'll be pumpkin pie. Do you want any others?
Thank you. You've been singing those for your grandchildren?
I taught them that, sure. When I was a teacher, and then I teach the grandchildren that too. Oh, I was full of fun.
Alrighty, so now we're going to put some lilies.
Did you cut the stamens out of the lilies?
I usually do, and then especially the big ones,
Yeah.
because if they drop on your if they drop on your tablecloth or they really make a mess. And these are such a pretty color. Oh, your table. Oh, the table. Alrighty. And then when I was up at, I have some more greens and stuff that we can mix in here. I'm not going to use that though. So this looks actually you can go right into Christmas with this, but if you wanted to make it Christmassy, you could just add the pine, and, but I'm going to add some other. Trader Joe's.
Yeah, I told her that.
And then I love this stuff. Rick, what's the name of this? Is this in the
It's Safari Sunset, but it's got a L-E-U.
Is it in the Protea family?
No, I don't think it's Protea. I can't remember.
Jane works at Trader Joe's. She should have brought them over. You could do an ad for them.
I have to cut that. Dear. Sorry, I kind of had it. And then this is seeded euc. This is seeded eucalyptus. This is very scented. And actually, they make this in like a reddish tinge too at this time of year. It's kind of cool. So I like this because to make it droop on the sides.
Gather it in one arm and hold it.
You really definitely would need more than or you'd have to rearrange it the whole time. Yeah, this came in the bunch. I'm probably not going to use it in this, and I'm not going to use this tortilla, isn't this?
That's okay.
Yeah. This is the other.
Is that the blue tip you got this?
Yeah, this has that. This has
It's
this is.
sticky. It's got a sappy.
Yeah, and it has a very sappy
Yeah.
when you cut it.
Yeah.
But
Like a milky, sticky substance.
and the cats love it. If this was at my house, my cats would be trying to get their head inside to drink the water. Okay, so I'm gonna just take a peek around, see where I need something. Where's Joanne? She was always my wing person when I made stuff, Joanne, right? My balance. This is a lot of flowers in there. All right, so then I don't think I need that either. And then I know what I have. I have one more thing to put in here, which I thought would be fun, if I can fit it. And that is, guess where I bought these? Trader Joe's. I'm not sure. I might have to extend them. Yeah, I'm going to have to. I think they might disappear. And then this is just the old barbecue skewers from the Christmas tree or wherever. I'm just actually. Oh, I'm there too. And I'm at the big. I mean, I go everywhere to drop the sales and stuff. So those kind of look. Is that going to stay? These are very top heavy though. That's the first time I put them in a fresh arrangement. So.
Are those fresh?
Yeah. Would you like? Did you? Never mind.
Were they on a stick already? Or
No, I just cut the little stem back a little bit.
And did you have to hot glue it on, or you just?
No, it's like because the barbecue, the shish kebab has the point, so I just put the point in that end. So. And then I have some nice little fun cat and nine tails. You can't layer, so everything's just being layered and layered and layered. One more here. Joanne? Right there? All right, so, and there we go. So I think did I use everything? I did. So there we go.